As many of you know, I was born to two world-acclaimed ballet dancers, Lee Twinsing, the author of Mao's Last Dancer, and Mary McKendry, the author of Mary's Last Dance. They could not wait to share with me their passion for dance and music. And it was actually at this very special gala, right here in Brisbane, that we finished and we went to stay at my mother's family. And there was lots of children around and balloons, and my father had given me one, and suddenly the balloon popped. Everyone jumped, except me. My father noticed, and his stint told him that something wasn't right. He was spot on. Everything in that moment changed. I still can't imagine the emotions my parents felt when the doctor walked through the room and said, "Your daughter is profoundly deaf." Their world shattered. Their hopes and dreams for me dissipated just like that. It was then my mother, who was the top of her dancing career, the top ballerinas of her time, decided to give it all so she could teach me to hear and speak. I was fitted with hearing aids, and I started going to many speech therapy lessons over the next 3 years. But it was fruitless. Because you see, hearing aids relies on the fact you have some hearing. I had none. And it was by sheer luck that my mother found out about the cochlear implant invention. The entire deaf population in America, the hospital, the medical professionals were all against it because it was so new and so risky at the time. But ultimately, it was my parents' decision in the end. I was to have a cochlear implant. I was 4 years old, and I had half of my head shaved off and 75 stitches on one side of my head. This was how I received my first cochlear implant, and I was 4 years old when I first heard sound. I don't remember the moment, but my mother did, and to her this meant everything because she knew that once I could hear sound, then she could teach me language. However, this didn't mean that I could hear and talk like a 4-year-old. This is why.
What kind of bait do you use to catch salmon? What kind of bait do you use to catch salmon? What kind of bait do you use to catch salmon?
What kind of bait do you use to catch salmon?
knowledgeable.
It's mind-blowing. And because I only have 22 channels to hear from, it was still a long and difficult journey for my mother and me. 5 years of speech therapy, they tested me to see where my hearing and speaking skills were at. I had the skills of a 3-year-old, and I was 9 at the time. I continued with speech therapy before school, during lunchtime and after school, while I went to a hearing mainstream school. High school became tougher. Listening to gossip and jokes was trying to watch a car race. You only get one part of it. And I was beating myself up because my hearing was not good enough. I was hiding my cochlear implants. I was still apologising to people that I was deaf. I even went to get another cochlear implant when I was 14 years old, because then I could continue to improve my hearing and speech. Like many other deaf people, I was 23 years old when I started my journey to learn Australian Sign Language, called Auslan. When I began to embrace deafness as a part of who I am and change the way I live, my life really started to change for the better. However, when I started to look onto YouTube, websites, apps, dictionaries, I quickly became frustrated because all of these still had so many missing signs, and some of them were still not yet available. So this planted a seed in me. But then I thought, surely there'll be other people out there to make a better resource so that we all can access and learn a sign language. 10 years later, nothing. I was so surprised, but because of that seed that took place, I began to realise I had an opportunity to make this happen. I had the idea, I had the drive, and I had the courage to go forward, because there's still a real possibility that this idea will fail. But I asked myself at the time, what's worse than to have never tried? So with my business partner, Nick, he also had similar experiences as I did. And we both banded together and designed and built a platform called Sein, Howe that aims to host over 300 different sign languages that's been currently used around the world. This is a really special time for us because we have just started to raise funds, and we want to complete the platform and launch it next month. What's even more amazing is that this platform will not only solve our issues, but also many other issues that deaf people face in the world today.
Today, there are 70 million deaf people worldwide that use sign language, and 70% can't read, write, and only have basic access to education. That's mind-blowing. Sein Howe can change this. How? Sign language dictionaries are expensive, labour-intensive, and always out of date, and none of them make money. True, but Sein Howe is different. One solution, one cost. It's a game changer. Anyone can upload their signs anywhere and anytime around the world. Free! Today, there are 70 million deaf people worldwide.
So not only you will solve our issues and solve these challenges, but you can also solve long-standing challenges that many countries face today, which is time, resources, and funding. You see, setting up the right filming equipment, then recording the signs, then uploading it. The hours it takes to produce just a few signs is just insane. And there are still so many more countries that rely on printed sign language dictionaries with 2D, black and white cartoons. And the team behind printing these are facing decisions like which signs to include and exclude, because they can only print so many copies based on the funding that they have. So for us, we are able to eliminate all of these barriers. How? It's simple. This platform will allow users to upload their signs anywhere, anytime around the world. And then this only allows us to have one real cost, which is our time to build a platform. Can you imagine how this could empower communities? They can no longer need to rely on the government or a funding body every few years or so. It also naturally allows the language to grow, evolve, and stay relevant. We have also built a business model that can generate revenue and sustain the dictionary itself, which is unlike all other sign language dictionaries today. What's even more important is that we can give back. With a platform like ours that's designed around a social cause, this part is so important. This is Sein Howe in a nutshell. And we hope that you all can join us on our journey to change the world, one sign at a time. And I also know that many of you are curious to learn a sign language, so let's start. So let me allow to teach you the alphabet. So this is A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. So now you all know how to say my name, and you can finger spell your name, Sophie. And now you can ask people around you, how are you? And you can respond back by saying, good. Thank you for having me here today. I hope you all can join our journey with Sein Howe.